in Indonesia. I'm living in Indonesia, and I also learn from my many great dentists from Indonesia and through all over the world. From Indonesia itself, we have some several Facebook group which may share some of our clinical case report that I can learn into it. And if you want to reach me, you can always follow me on Instagram. You can just write Rio Surantoro so that it will refer to my profile, and also you can even try to write Rio Surantoro in my YouTube search, and also it will refer to my YouTube channel and also my Facebook page. So I want you to enjoy this meeting by stay hydrated, stay happy, stay super. Feel free to take photos or share or screenshots because I ain't share any material to you. So prepare your snacks and beverages because now it's lunch time. So let's lunch and learn. So and last but not least, pray well. I hope that you are enjoying this webinar. As a disclaimer, actually, everything that I share today is evidence-based and supported by given articles, paper, and journals. So if you want to ask me more about the journals and background about any basis of the clinical uh, or practical situation, maybe you can ask me directly to DM or email me if you want to get the journals. And then I'm not endorsed anything. I bought all the tools and materials by myself, not being given. Even if today we are by having sponsors from Coltin, I bought the materials by myself. And this sharing is suitable for general practitioners, particularly who loves endo, because we are going to learn endo. So I hope I hope that you are happy today because endo is quite amazing. And then I cannot use any photos or video editor. All the images are raw and no edit at all. So what you will see in my presentation is very raw images and videos. Even if I have compiled it in my laptop, I use the very basic program name iMovie. So it is very basic. And what's on today's menu? We are going to learn about the anatomy and bacterial loads versus healing, and optimum instrumentation size also, and also revisioning the 3D canal, because we are not only treating the primary case, we are going to learn also about how to remove the gutta percha from the root canal. And three important points that you have to know. First is the root canal anatomy. You have to know the spaces. You have to have the ability to understand what inside the tooth and what causing the disease, bacteria, and how to remove the disease so that we can achieve a proper healing to our patient's disease. So first of all, we have to understand that the root canal is not only the main canal, and in 1907, let me reiterate it once again. 1907, Dr. Guido Fischer coined the term canal system because the canal itself is unpredictable. It is very. Each person, each tooth is very different in anatomical structure. So we call it canal system because we cannot even predict how the anatomical variance inside the root canal is. And then in 1917, ex- wait, in 1917, Dr. Walter Hayes trying to have a research more about the canal anatomy and knowing more about the canal, what we call the variances, the portal of exit of every canal system, so that we can understand that in 1917 we have seen that the root canal itself is uh, very much unpredictable. And from here in 1955 we can see that the advancement of the endodontic science make Dr. Cutler do the research on how far should we do a root canal treatment. And he said that the root canal treatment should be done under the confine of the root canal. It means in the uh, minor diameter of of apical third of the root canal, and then it is it is located 0.3 to 0.8 millimeter from the foramen apical, and then from here we can see that the root canal itself is very unpredictable, but we can reach the apical third by going through the main canal. So what we are going to do in endodontic treatment is only treating the main canal, thus reducing the bacterial load inside the main canal, and then delivering the irrigants to kill the bacteria that enter the lateral canal whatsoever. But now this is this is this is the science, the research done by Dr. Cutler in 1955, showing you how far should we do the root canal treatment in the apical third. And then maybe we have the clinical question in our endodontic treatment. What is the biological objective of endodontic treatment? Why do we have to do endodontic treatment in the diseased tooth, in the tooth which has endodontic problem? Because we want to prevent or eliminate the apical periodontitis. So apical periodontitis is the inflammation happen surrounding the periapical tissue, and it is caused because the bacteria has penetrated into the main canal from the tooth mainly. And then why do we have to why would we put the term not only elimination but also prevention? Because the apical periodontitis is still exists if the endodontic treatment is not done well. So you have to be able to prevent and or eliminate the apical periodontitis. So maybe the other question, is it possible to achieve bone regeneration after complete healing? And as you can see from the presentation here, and you can see from the two X-ray images I gave to you here, here we have a very big bone loss in the apical third, not only the apical third, but also the um, coronal two-third of the root canal, and then or the medial third, and then it has progressed more than 1.5 centimeter, and after following a proper endodontic treatment, we can see and we can see a proper bone regeneration exists here. So is it possible to achieve bone regeneration or complete healing? The answer to that is yes. As you can see from here, the 5 years control of single visit endo. So I want you to learn from my clinical case report here. And as you can see, the patient came to me after having his four anterior teeth treated by another operator, and the bone loss still exists, and he felt inflamed. He felt some discomfort at the under the nose area, and he had came to another dentist and said that he needed a surgery, and he asked for another second and third opinion, until he came to me, and then I asked him that we can do a proper endodontic treatment and wait until the bone regeneration exists. So what I did was proper endodontic treatment to these four anterior teeth. As you can see here, actually not only treatment but endodontic retreatment. So those treatment was done in a single visit, as you can see here. So I did a single visit in two anterior uh, teeth in the upper right region first, and then in the next visit I did the two anterior teeth in the upper left region. And then this is it. After 5 years, he hadn't come to me within this time duration. And then he asked me to change for all of this restoration with a crown, but I asked him to wait and let me evaluate my previous treatment first. So before changing to a crown, I do a proper polishing to this particular tooth, and then I check the radiographic images, and thanks God, we can see a proper bone regeneration exists after 5 years. Actually, when was the first time the bone regeneration has already stopped? I cannot even describe those particular time to you, because this patient didn't have uh, proper control treatment to me. So with me. So he just came to me at 5 years ago, in particularly in 2016, and then he came to me afterwards at 2021. After 5 years, and as you can see here, the bone has already regenerated after full endodontic treatment done in these four anterior teeth. So, if you have those kind of question, is it possible to achieve bone regeneration or complete healing? The answer is yes, as long as you are following the endodontic procedures. So, if you want to know what should I do to follow the endodontic procedures, maybe we have to come back first to the clinical question. What causes the endodontic problems? The endodontic problem is usually caused by bacteria. So, in 1974, Takahashi et al. Done the research on gnotobiotic rats. It means that the rats doesn't have any bacteria at all, in which he opened the pulp, and in one subjects he put bacteria, and in another subjects he didn't put any bacteria at all, and then as a result the subject with the pulp that uh, the subjects with bacteria has the pulp pulpitis and leads to necrosis. But in the subject without any bacteria at all, the pulp still vital, but stay in pulpitis, not irreversible pulpitis. So the main cause of endodontic problem is bacteria or microbes. So what is the microbe itself? Why do we need to learn about microbes? Because we want to know how to get the proper healing inside our inside this tooth, and following endodontic protocol. So, the healing process can be achieved if the number of microbial cells below the threshold of human immune system. So, in order to be able to lowering the number of microbial cells, you need to do a proper endodontic treatment by doing proper disinfection inside a root canal systems. So, maybe now we can follow to the basic endodontic protocols. Basic endodontic protocols consist of from access preparation, mechanical instrumentation, proper disinfection or cleaning, hermetic operation to prevent to prevent further infection, and coronal seal, definitive restoration. Don't forget to have a long-term evaluation, because the patient came to you in a condition where the patient didn't have a proper awareness of his or her tooth, and also oral hygiene improvement to have a prolonged success of your endodontic treatment case. But don't forget, basic endodontic protocols can be done without proper isolation protocols and proper X-ray taking. Without any proper isolation protocols, you may not be able to achieve a good um, um, isolation on your operative side. It means the bacteria may come from your saliva. So you have to use them. I will tell you why we need to use them after this. And also proper X-ray taking. No X-ray, no endo, because you cannot even have the ability to see how the canal curvature is, and you cannot even see how the bone loss big is, how big the bone loss is. So you need to have a proper X-ray taking in order to see what you can see by your bare eyes. So the problem is the root canal is not a main canal only, as we have as it has quite wide division. The main canal is part of the root canal, and the root canal consists of many accessory canals, lateral canals, isthmuses, fins, multiple foramen in which bacteria may exist in this area, and we have to remove all bacteria in it. So as we have referred to our previous slides, we need to remove bacteria in every part of the root canal he stayed. So what is there to be clean inside the canal? Not only bacteria, but also biofilm, predentin is an organic tissue offering the dentin. Actinal is the inorganic tissue after shape and purpose extruded from the inflammatory tissue, and then it's this layer. And we have to remove all of this so that we can achieve a proper lowering or decreasing the number of bacterial loads inside the canals, and then we can fill the canal with a picture. Then by cleaning this, and then I want to differentiate from you to you between the bacteria and the bacteria and the biofilm. The biofilm itself is an aggregate of slowly growing bacteria. It is embedded in the slime matrix produced by bacteria in extracellular polymeric substances. And these low metabolic rates prevent these disinfectant agents to kill the bacteria inside the biofilm cells. So the biofilms are everywhere in root canal that we have to remove from the root canal. So I just want you to know that the biofilm is very hard to be cleaned off. You need if you want to know more about biofilm and bacteria, you can see from the people from the video here. The the bacteria is the plankton bacteria are swimming in the canals, and it is very easy to be cleaned by the very low concentrate of disinfecting agents. But biofilm are covered by EBS. It means we need to use a proper tools, the proper materials to be able to penetrate the EPS things, and then killing the bacteria inside the EPS matrix system. So, how does the healing occurs? By reducing bacterial population to subcritical levels that are compatible to healing process done by the human body. And then in 1974, we have the term cleaning and shaping of the root canal. The cleaning and shaping is a concept that produces a three-dimensional continuously tapering multiplane cone from axis cavity to radiographic terminus while preserving foramina position and size. It means we want to if you want to reduce the bacterial loads inside the root canal, you have to do a proper shaping and cleaning. Shape the root canals as a pathways for proper irrigation or disinfecting agent and proper obturation, and let the irrigating solution to kill the microbes, because the fast alone cannot be able to kill the bacteria. The one that can kill the bacteria is disinfecting agent, and any chemical agent. And before we go too far, we want to know what is the early failure in endo, because may all of you, and I assume that all of you know that endo is consisting about shaping, cleaning, obturation, shaping, cleaning, and obturation. But before we go too far, we need to know what causing the failure in endodontic treatment. From the journal here, the paper here, we can see that the first the first failure is caused by the inability of the operator to prevent the infection during working endo. This is because the operator doesn't use any rubber dam. But where does the bacteria came from during the operating procedures? This is coming from the saliva. So I want to give you some of the videos showing you uh, how much the bacteria inside a liter of saliva taken from your mouth. So whenever you are having saliva taken from your mouth, yeah, as you can see here, we can see cheek cells, we can see bacteria, we can see also the epithelium, white blood cells, etc. The food may attract the more bacteria because the food is a source of energy. And then, what if we put a little bit of saliva into a petri dish? We can see lots, not little, lots of bacteria growing from this petri dish. So can you imagine this amount of bacteria inside a small root canal? Please, please prevent any possibility of reinfection during working endo by using rubber dam. So now, no rubber dam, no endo. This is not from me. This is from American Association of Endodontists telling this statement that only tooth isolation using dental dam is the standard of care. It is integral and essential for any non-surgical endodontic treatment, and only rubber dam isolation can minimizes the risk of contamination of the root canal system by indigenous oral bacteria. So please use rubber dam. This is the rubber dam I use in my daily endodontic practice, and as you can see, I always do endodontic treatment under rubber dam isolation. Always, because no rubber dam, no endo, baby. No rubber dam, no endo. No rubber dam means that you are letting the bacteria come to your root canal system by saliva. And then, what if you can put a rubber dam isolation at first? Just build the wall so that the rubber dam clamp can stabilize inside your particular tooth. And this is it. I always done my endodontic treatment under rubber dam isolation. Rubber dam itself is not a new technique. Rubber dam is an old technique. As you can see here, this is the endodontic treatment that was done in 1917, and this was done under rubber dam isolation, even if the operator didn't use any gloves. So the gloves back then was a luxury thing maybe. So, but rubber dam is not a luxury at all. So please use rubber dam, since rubber dam is very, very, very cheap. And then the rubber dam itself found by Dr. Sanford Christie Barnum in 1864. So why do I have to tell you this? Because rubber dam is not a new science. This is not a new tools. It is a very old science that was found by from more than 100 years ago. So this is how I usually put the rubber dam inside the particular tooth in endodontic treatment. So first, I put the clamp on and try to make sure that the clamp is stable enough, and then I place the rubber sheet into the respective tooth. I love to use the medium thickness rubber sheet, and then also we can also just doing a little bit stretching of the your rubber dam so that it will move slides into the proximal area. If not, you can use dental floss to slide the rubber sheet under the proximal contact. And then don't forget to adjust your rubber dam clamp. Thus, the rubber sheet is located under the rubber dam clamp. And always invert your rubber dam sheet so that it will go towards your sulcus. Thus, it preventing the entering of the gingival clavicular fluids. And then you can start your endodontic treatment by here having a good and proper isolation protocols using rubber dam. But this is not enough because we need to rebuild the proximal wall that I will explain it later in this presentation. So back to our topic, disinfecting the root canals. In what uh, means we can disinfect the root canals? So from this paper, we can see that the success of endodontic treatment depends on the eradication of microbes, if present, from the root canal system and prevention of the reinfection, so that we can have the success in endodontic healing. And disinfecting the root canal is by can be achieved by having a proper shaping, proper room inside the root canal, the main canal. Then the disinfecting agents go through into it, and then killing the bacteria inside the root canal. So the bacteria will kill the microbes inside the root canal. But as you can see, the instrumentation didn't cannot not have the ability to kill the bacteria, because there are still unshaped dentin which contains more bacteria, which contains more biofilm, which contains more predentin, etc., and may trigger further infection in the next future after you are having the root canal failed by gutta percha. So from this paper, we can see that the root canal is so complex, and the dentin itself, the main canal itself, is still cannot be clean or cannot be shaped by the shaping protocols alone. There are still some areas, as you can see, there are still some areas that are untouched by the files, that are untouched by your rotary files. So, and this area is still infected dentin. Nah, and this is also the mandibular molar. We can see the image here. We can see the area, uh, the joining from the two main canals or isthmuses that cannot be clean, cannot be shaped by the files you are using in your daily practice. So how do we get there? How do we get there so that we can clean the area? And these are the papers. Maybe you can take a screenshot here. These are the papers telling us that uh, uh, only 16% of the canals can be filed by your file. The rest, the 40% of the canals are uninstrumented. So what are covering this area? We have tissue remnants, we have collagen fibers, we have cellular debris, we have inflammatory products, we have bacteria and their byproducts. As you can see here, this is the scanning electron microscope of dentin surface covered by pre-dentin and other organic debris in an uninstrumented canal area. So maybe you have finished with instrument canal, but you haven't finished. You still have business in this uninstrumented area that are still covered by these amounts of organic and inorganic debris. And this is the cross section of dentin covered by smear layer created by instrumentation. You can notice the smear plaques in dentin canals, which may prevent the penetration of your disinfecting agents to go towards the dentinal tubules to kill the bacteria inside the dentinal tubules. So remember, please do a proper shaping and let the irrigating solution kill the microbes. So this is the video of how the irrigating solution kill the microbes. Why do we need irrigating solution? Because the irrigating solution will be there killing the microbes. This is the action of sodium hypochlorite killing the microbes, and this is the planktonic bacteria. As all you've seen here is the capability of sodium hypochlorite, the alcohol, or this soap in killing planktonic bacteria. But remember, we are not only dealing with any planktonic bacteria, we are dealing with uh, biofilm that are attached to the dentinal structures. So we have to deliver the irrigant to the apex. On how? How to deliver it? By creating a space. And what space? How big should we finish the preparation? Actually, in 1974, again, we will refer to the paper from Herbert Childers that very common in our endodontic world. We have to make a vanal shape preparation from coronal to apical by continuously tapering cone, preserve natural cone from the canal, not not increasing the diameter of the canal so that the shape is not vanal anymore, and keep the apical third narrows and the as the narrowest part and the coronal third the wider part, and avoid transportation of the foramen, and keep the foramen as small as practical, not as small as possible, because we have seen that the canal diameter in every tooth is different. So keep as small as practical. And what is the optimum diameter for irrigating solution to flow to the apex effectively? As we can see from this paper from Cutler, we can see that he has done a thorough examination of many tools and telling us that the diameter of the canal ranging from 25 up to more than 51. Uh, 51. So this is quite big because you may start and inserting your initial file by number 6 or 10, but actually um, the most the diameter of the canal at the most apical part is more than just file number 10. So that's the from the anatomical point of view. And now, from the irrigating point of view, how big should we, how big should we prepare or shape the canal from the irrigating point of view? If you are using the irrigating or needles number 30, and if from this paper, we can see that by increasing to the number of 14 taper or lower, we can eliminate all of the debris from the apical to the coronal. So from this point of view, I repeat, from this point of view, you may enlarge the canal up to the number 40 with 4% taper that I will explain to you later. But another point of view, because we want to achieve complete healing by reducing the bacterial loads inside the root canal, and the bacterial loads itself can be cleaned by sodium hypochlorite alone and any other irrigating solution. Our concern is how to deliver the irrigants from the coronal to the apex by maintaining the canal anatomy without enlarging too much dentin. So this is it. We can see that the file number 25 is enough. File number 25 taper 6% is enough. And as you can see here, from the bacterial point of view, now we have seen the anatomical point of view, we have seen the irrigating needle point of view. Now I want you to see from the bacterial loads point of view. From this point of view, we can see that number 25 4% taper up to 46% taper doesn't have any much different. And then another paper showing you that these are still capable, 25% taper is still capable to reduce the quantity of bacteria at the apical level to the coronal level. So what is the minimum instrumentation size? The answer to that is 25 taper 4%. But I will repeat, but you can always um, you can always shape or prepare as much as you want if you feel free, if you feel that if you feel that the canal is still dirty. So, but the minimum is 25 taper 4. Some other paper may say that 20 taper 4, 20 taper 6% is enough. But from the paper that I got in this webinar, that I showed you is 25 taper 4%. So what does it mean? It means that we have to know first what does the 2% taper or 4% taper means. The KFL itself is a 2% taper. 2% taper is the increasing diameter of from the corona. The 2% taper is the increasing the diameter from the corona, the D diameter 0. Okay, let me explain to you slowly. Taper is the increased diameter per millimeter from the tip of the files. So if you have files number 25, as you see here, the number 25 with 2% taper, it means every millimeter of the files, every millimeter, I repeat, every millimeter of the files has increased its diameter by 0.02 millimeter. And the number of 25 itself refers to 25 per 100 millimeters. And this is the diameter of the files at the D0 or at the very tip of the files. So the taper itself defined also by, it can be 2%, 4%, 6%, or out of these three, like any other files which has progressive taper. So the taper itself can be continuous or constant. As you can see here, we have similar tip diameter to 25. Okay, one curve 2506. It means one curve 6% taper, and we have K file number 25. It means K file with 2% taper. Number 25 means that at the very tip of the file has 0.25 millimeter diameter. So from this point of view, you can see that the minimum instrumentation size is 2504. It means in the middle of 2% to 6% taper, 25 over 4%. So if we can calculate, if we want to reach a minimum diameter of the root canal, we may shape the canal with 0.25 at the apex through the working length and 0.29 and 0.33 and so on. So the file itself, the methods of cleaning the canals using files itself is not a new. In 1983 and in 1838, Edwin Maynard of Washington, D.C. introduced the first root canal instrument that he created by filing a watch spring. As you can see, the watch spring, he took the watch spring and then he used it to clean the root canal, the main canal in on his patients. And in starting in 1900s, we can see K-Vile, we can see K-Reamer. Up to now in 2021, there are still so many company producing such files with different geometry, such files which has different metallurgy. But we have reached to the level where we have many companies that launch many products which has advantages and disadvantages rather than 100 years ago. And the endodontics is not and the new concept. This is the concept of disinfecting the canals so that from from the very first the endodontic science was found, it aims to remove the bacterial from the root canal, remove any content in the root canals, so that it can be clean, it can be filled, and the tooth stay there, and the apical periodontitis is gone. So this is it. You are not the skills of the operator play important roles, not the files. But you have to know what the files you are using it before starting to do or applying endodontic treatment on your patients. Actually, shaping protocols is the action of how we enlarge the root canal. I repeat, on how we enlarge the root canal, and then allowing proper irrigating solution to go from the coronal third to the apical third. And thus, we are using files. So we have such scenario of how we remove how we um, remove the canal content from from the bacteria from the root canal. Here it is. This is how we usually do. We have the red is the main canal, and the brown is the dentin. We want to enlarge, we want to enlarge, we want to clean the main canal so that we can remove the canal content out from the canal. And here it is. After having the root canal filed, we have reached to this area. But you are still leaving such bacteria here. You have cleaned this area, but you are still leaving the area surrounding the root canal dentin. Thus, you need to increase the diameter of your files back then to be able to remove the root canal contents out from the root canal. So here it is. Now you have reached such areas where the bacterial loads significantly down, and then the root canal can be filled. What about the fate of the bacteria inside the root canal that cannot be eliminated? It is there, and we call it entombacteria. So this is the scenario of how we shape the canal in round canals anatomy from the cross-sectional point of view. But what if we found the canal is oval? What is the what is the strategy to properly, let me repeat, to properly clean the dentin from any bacteria without compromising the canal anatomy. Why should I use the word compromising? Because if we are using the same method like what we've done in round canals, we may remove lots of dentin. Lots of dentin. As you can see here, the bacteria still there, the bacteria still exists, and if we want to remove all of the bacteria by enlarging the canal, the files we are using, we may remove too much dentin, in which weakening the tooth structures. This is the action that we have to avoid. So, what is the strategy in dealing with such oval canal? You may have the perception that this oval canal is from two joint canal. So you prepare the other sides and the other sides of the canals, and consider that this oval canals is consisting of two main canals. And then the rest of it still containing bacteria, it's okay. You may clean you may clean this area by using ultrasonic, or you can use a smaller files. Okay, you can use smaller files and brush the canal. Or the term brushing, when you are using a rotary instrument, the term would be filing, circumferential filing, if you are using hand instrument or K-file instrument, stainless steel instrument. This is called circumferential filing or canal brushing using rotary instrument. Thus, the canal will clean circumferentially, and we can achieve 3D disinfection. But remember, this is from the cross-sectional point of view. But now, I want you to know from the longitudinal point of view. As we have learned that the minimum diameter of the root canal that we should enlarge to be able to put or introduce the irrigating material from the coronal to the apical is 2504. Previously, when I was in the university, I was told to prepare the canal using step-back preparation. Step-back preparation is mainly forming the canal with 5% taper, as you can see from the image below. By increasing the diameter of the canal, uh, 5 per 100 millimeters, or one step bigger than your initial files, and decreasing the working length you are working with. So this is the step back preparation, and now we have advantage. We have advancement in endodontic instrumentation. We have rotary instrument from NiTi or nickel titanium, which has more flexibility, stronger than stainless steel material, and it can form, I repeat, it can form 25% or 25 or 6% directly without doing any step back instrumentation. So actually, this is not a single files. Although some company may coin the term single, but this is not single. You have to use preliminary files. You have to use the glide path files to secure the glide path. Finally, you may use the final shaping files to achieve proper shaping of the root canals to allow the irrigants to go to the apical levels. And now I'm going to introduce to you what I used from 2018. Repeat, 2018. I used one curve since 2018 and up to today. So I was working Endo before starting the webinar, and up to today I'm using one curve. Why should I choose one curve? Because the one curve itself meets the standard of better cleaning efficiency. As you can see, as we may have learned, the minimum canal preparation size is 2504, and one curve has 2504 and 2506% taper, and it is heat treated. The cyclic fatigue resistance is increased, and the blade flexibility is improved than the previous one shape design. So one curve actually is the improvement of the one shape from Micromega. The file is softer. It means it is more flexible than one shape, and the incidence of file separation is decreased due to this improvement of the file's metallurgy. The variable cross section. The variable cross section gives the instrument an excellent capacity of upward debris removal. I will explain to you why does the variable cross section here gives the instrument excellent capacity. As you can see here, we have more room for debris here, so that the debris removal will be effectively done, delivered by one curve while we cut the dentin during shaping protocols. So you have to try. And then we are in, the one curve itself has the fast that I use is 0.6% taper. I rarely use 4% taper, so I will explain to you the 6% taper. The 6% taper means that the increase in diameter is 6 per 100 millimeters from the tip of the files. So it means the standard of minimum instrumentation size of the files, and it has two different cross-sectional cut, and it is not symmetrical. So it is unsymmetrical, so that the movement will be not that centered, but also will able to shape or to touch the area that are not in the center of the canal. Before, I want you to remember, we want to have a proper 3D disinfection. It means if we have the files only moving at the center of the canal, the lateral part of the panel, the lateral dentin, won't be touched by the files itself, thus are uninstrumented and leaving infected tissue. All I want to have is the clean dentin three-dimensionally. So I want to have the files that have a movement circumferentially, which has this asymmetrical cross-section. So the one curve that I use, always starting from the K file number 10, 1G, 1G, and one curve will be the end of the files. And if I need to have more coronal purifiering, I use one flare. So what does the heat treatment meaning uh, comparing to the regular NiTi files? The C wire or heat treatment is modifying nickel titanium structure toward a martensite phase, meaning that its shape is modified after stress, or we call it control memory. It is different from any regular NiTi files, which has shape memory. We have control memory. It maintaining its shape after being bended. It allows an efficient the file to be rebent to bypass a constraint or better access to the canal entrance. So when you are dealing with such curvature, high curvature, I mm, I will ask you to use these heat treated files rather than using or introducing regular NiTi files. So you have to know what material you are using during working endo. And this is how heat treatment files works. So we can bend the files, we can bend the metal, and then when it is introduced to heat, it will go back to its natural position. And this one curve can be pre-bent, although it is not able to be pre-bent that much. After given a very cold temperature, it can be pre-bended that much and stay in that position. We call it control memory. But after introducing to the hot temperature, it will go back to its original position. This is it. This is the advantages that I want to have during working Endo. Having the files that can be pre-banded because the case that I face is not a regular face. So this is it. We can pre-band, and it is different from one shape regular NiTi. Actually, one curve and one shape is very similar in structures. So one curve has a heat-treated NiTi files, and it has the ability to uh, stay in shape after bending. And then uh, the cyclic fatigue resistance is increased, the blade flexibility is improved, and we can work more in the cases with this kind of heat treated case files. And the heat treatment step comes from after grinding and electropolishing. The first step is electropolishing. So we have to shape the files first and then doing the heat treatment. And this is it. You can see from here improvement of the fracture resistance, and it can from any other files we can see that maybe in the market you can use will see more files with more flexibility because these files is more martensitic. But remember, the more martensitic the file is, the softer the files become. Okay, the more martensitic the files is, the more softer files become, and it is dull. So by having C-wire technology, we want to achieve good cutting efficiency from the files and the flexibility. So we have both advantages. So this is how I use um, one curve and one G in my clinical situation. So at first, I was not capable to reach the MB2 canals here. So this is very hard for me to reach this area because the mouth opening was quite uh, deep and the not high, very low. And then I cannot put my fingers to do a proper gut path management using K-files. So I use gut path management using rotary files with 1G micromega. So this is it. This is the, we have to secure the glide path using 1G. 1G is a glide path files from micromega, and it has the 1403 continuous taper diameter. So it can be used to um, secure the glide path. And after that, I do a vinyl canal enlargement using one curve from micromega. And as you can see here, the files is not breaking. Even if the curvatures was quite severe, medium to severe, and yeah, that's how we can see the file moving, and the file still moving, and the debris is coming out from the canals. Nice. And then I can get the final MB2 preparation, fill it with gutta percha, and then voila, finish. So in order to be able to have a good shaping protocols in a clinical practice, you need to know what files you are using. Here is one curve files. Here is ProTaper Gold. Here is the eFlex Blue from Active, and whatever files you are using, you have to know the exact diameter of the files so that you can imagine the vinyl diameter of the canal you are working with. And this is it. I want to have I want to explain to you the term preparation sequence. The preparation sequence is how we prepare the coronal two-third before preparing the apical one-third. So by having this preparation technique, you won't get your files separated during working endo, during shaping protocols, and it will be safe for you to do many endo in many canal anatomy, many canal curvature. First, you have to do scouting of the root canal in at the coronal two-third by having a small size hand files following with small size rotary file. For me, I use 1G from Micromega because it has 14 3% diameters, and it is a very should very perfect files for having securing the glide path from the coronal to third up to the coronal third, the apical third. And then don't be rush. Please prepare the corona two-third. Okay, remember, don't be rush. Prepare the corona two-third with one curve. And after having this corona two-third fully prepared, you can do you can advance to the apical third and make sure that you have attached your endomotor with apex locator to make sure that you are working in the same exact position of um, minor constriction. And then here it is, we can shape the apical third. So this is what we call with preparation sequence. First, you have to work with two-thirds of your desired working length, and then you are working up to the apical third, uh, your definitive working length. Don't That's how I usually prepare my tooth. But from the mathematical point of view, I want you to know from the mathematical point of view. Actually, when you are inserting or introducing the file number 10 to the respected canal, the mean canal length is the mean canal length is 8 to 12 millimeter. So I assume that the canal length here is 12 millimeter, and then the canal will follow the file's anatomy. So after having this kind of anatomy, you can introduce coronal pre-flaring if the canal is big enough, or you can do like what I've told you to do before in preparation sequence by having root canal prepared with one curve, 25 6% taper. But if you want to use one flare, it's okay. That's up to you. And if you are using one flare, now the root canal diameter will follow what you have prepared with a combination of both K-val and one flare. And then now you can introduce the 1G files to the apical third of the canal. And then you can sequentially inserting the uh, one curve after gaining this combination of 1G and one flare. So from this mathematical point of view, we can see that now after inserting the 1G files and up to the apical part of the canal, apical third, and then inserting 5 millimeter of one flare from the orifices. Now we have this particular diameter of the canal. We have different taper increasing from the root canal anatomy from apical from to coronal. And as you can see, it has more space for us to introduce the one curve 25 or 6 from coronal to apical. Then it's finished. To gain 6% taper using a rotary false versus gaining 5% taper from step back technique. Both are awesome. Both has the capability to deliver the irrigants from the coronal part to the apical part. But now you are the one who choose whether you are using hand files or rotary valves. Then we have three kind of files. We have one flare, one G, and one curve that can be used in our patients in our clinical situation. And here is how I prepare. I use one curve, one G, and one flare in model. First, uh, in a very very easy canal, we can just introduce 1G up to the applicator of the canal, and then always doing irrigation, recapitulation, and irrigation before you are introducing new files or next files or the same files. Also, always do the irrigation, recapitulation irrigation. And then after having the canal prepared with 1G, gut path 14.03%, one flare 25.08%. Now we can prepare with one curve 25.06% perfectly up to the corona, up to the apical of the canal sequentially. Please make sure sequentially. Okay. And then after gaining space, we can imply proper disinfection. That's why that's what we want to have. We want to achieve proper disinfection. After gaining space, we have to do proper disinfection. Why? Because the one who kill the microbes is sodium hypochlorite. Not only that, not only sodium hypochlorite, but any other disinfecting agent you are using in your clinic, like um, chlorhexidine and so on. But now we have challenges in cleaning the canal. We have already prepared the main canal, but how do we do we deliver the irrigants to the lateral canals? We have some such of variation in the canal's anatomy, and we want to reach the unreachable area by valves alone. How can we deliver the canal the irrigants to these kind of anatomical structures? Yeah, we need agitation that we want to have, that I want to tell you about, is consisting of many means of many techniques: sonic, ultrasonic, and whatever you are using in your clinic. But now we can see here that there are areas that are not being able to be touched by the files alone, and you need to clean those areas. It is like you are washing your clothes in your washing machine, but you won't get the dirt on your clothes moving out from your clothes by just leaving your clothes alone without agitating or without moving the washing machines. So if you want to have a proper disinfection, if you want to deliver the irrigants toward the lateral canal and anal canal, you need agitation. So we have two types of irrigation: active and passive. We have hydrostatic and or hydrodynamic. As you can see here, the hydrodynamic itself is, or passive. The hydrostatic itself is not much learned or being researched, because this is not very useful. It is okay for friction reduction during working endo. It is okay for temperature control, but it is less effective. As you can see from this video, the pulp is getting better, getting dissolved faster after being agitated and not much studied. But now, after having the sodium hypochlorite activated or agitated, we can increase its effectiveness 12 folds. So we have to keep the irrigant in motion in the canal as a key factor for effectiveness for both tissue dissolution, as you can see from this video from my friends, and antibacterial effectiveness. The effect of hydrodynamic in nature can be seen in this video from the tsunami that happened in Japan in 2011. You can watch the flow of water, the destruction that this tsunami gave to the houses here is very hard. And we want to have this hydrodynamic motion inside the root canal so that the bacteria, the biofilm, can be cleaned completely. There are various techniques. We have agitation by syringe and needles. We have agitation by gutta percha. We have sonic activation and ultrasonic activation. But in practical reality, to improve the action and the debridement, different irrigation devices are available. That I'm going to introduce to you is sonic and ultrasonic. Because the final goal of our endodontic treatment is to achieve a complete disinfection and also cleaning of the root canal walls, the root canal dentin, before having the root canal is fully obturated by gutta percha. These are the methods I use in my daily practice. We have two means of agitation, two techniques. First, we have sonic, and second, we have ultrasonic. The left you are the material you are, the tools you are watching here in the left video is um, ultrasonic device. It may it may not be seen working that much, but as you can see, the bubbles coming from the canals means that the faucet is working. The faucet working without your eyes cannot see it completely because this is ultrasonic. And how about the effectiveness between ultrasonic and sonic? The ultrasonic, under certain circumstances, may instigate the formation and collapse of vacuum bubbles in a liquid, a process known as cavitation. However, acoustic streaming appears to be the main mode of action. So, what does cavitation effect of ultrasonic to the bacteria? In a nature, we can see cavitation of a stream mantis to kill the crabs. This is cavitation, the formation of a bubble and the bubble collapse in a liquid. This collapse of liquid may create a high degree of temperatures, increasing the degree of temperatures and also killing the crabs. I want you to imagine the same exact situation that the stream mantis does to the crabs. Uh, that we can achieve by activating the root canal irrigants using ultrasonic methods. And the cavitation can only, as I repeat, can only be able to instigate only by ultrasonic activated irrigation. The sonic energy cannot produce cavitation. So if you want to have more effectiveness, more advantages on your endodontic treatment, please use the materials or tools that have more powerful effect. For me, cavitation is quite powerful, and I prefer to use ultrasonic rather than sonic. And how about the flow of irrigation materials inside root canals? Uh, from our eyes, we may not be able to see that the ultrasonic device are moving, but then it is capable to deliver the solution towards the anatomical pharynges inside the root canal system. That is why if you say that the ultrasonic device may not be able to deliver it, you are wrong. Ultrasonic device can deliver the root canal irrigant towards the anatomical structures that cannot be seen by our eyes. And this is what Endo Ultra does to the lateral canals. Even if the tip of the Endo Ultra is located at the center of the root canal, at the center of the main canal, the root canal irrigants can flow from the main canal towards the lateral canals. So that's what we call with cavitation. How about acoustic microstreaming? Now we have learned how biofilm are attached to the dentinal structures, and we have to remove the biofilm by mechanical action. Thus, we need ultrasonic energy to remove the biofilm completely towards the dentinal structures. Not only biofilm, but also predentin. Predentin is very hardly to remove during endodontic treatment because it is predentin. This is the part of the pulp, and it is attached to the to the nail tuberous very very hard. So, and how about the smelly layer removals? Ultrasonic device is get the winning action other than any other tools. So we are using those kind of ligands, and those things need irrigate activation to be able to achieve the dentin free from bacteria, biofilm, predentin, or anorganic materials, and so on. And then we can fill the canal with good aperture. And you may ask me, what is the proper irrigation time? From the American Association of Endodontics, the minimum instrumentation time, if you are using sodium hypochlorite, is 40 minutes. So if you want to do a single visit endo, please do under 40 minutes as a minimum irrigation time. And if you are using activation, you will reduce the irrigation time because the irrigation the activation will increase the effectiveness of irrigating solution. Thus, we need lower irrigation time. Thus, time saving for you. You can do endo with less than 20 minutes in a single canal. So what if it fails? You have to do a redo. You have to remove the aperture. The method that I use previously was not the removing files from micrometer. I use the other files. But then micrometer is the removal files also protein removal files, and it has good structure. It has tip number 3 and nothing, and it generates heat after working with more than 400 RPM. It is a CY1 technology, and I love it to use in treatment cases. So remember, always do activation of final calibration as easy, and rinse and refresh against after 30 seconds once. And initiation should have a chamber. So if you do endodontic, please do create a full accessibility before doing root canal or introducing files to the root canal and to the root canal. Thus, we will have a proper dissection during endo. So finally, after 86 minutes, don't stress, stay calm. That's what I coined the term into authentic. So if you, there are many cases in our practice that it needs to be done in a very common condition. If you are stressed, you may not be able to do endodontic treatment properly. So this is the case studies that I have. This is the premolar with big abscess. The abscess is located as the more posterior than the first premolar. So I need to do a proper tracing to make sure that the tooth origins that causing the infection is the first premolar. So I place the good aperture here as a tracing material, and then as we can see here, the tooth that causing the infection is the first premolar. Thus, I have the reason to work on the premolar, although the sinus tract is located more posterior than the second premolar. So after having the proper diagnosis and proper informed consent from my patients, also I start working endo by having a proper access preparation and doing a proper gingivectomy and proper rewalling. I do rewalling here or pre-endodontic build up. So first, I always use low shrinkage stress flowable composite resin or flowable backfill composite resin. Here I use as because we are working with a high C factor cavity. It means I need a composite resin that has a low circuit stress capability. And why do I use flowable composite resin? Because I want to compensate the irregularity of the tooth structures that left after being prepared. And then after having a four-wall cavity access in this case, I start to remove the gutta percha. Here, actually, we don't need any solvent. So we can use activation first. I use Endo Ultra to create pathways. Back then, we have no remover files. So I'm sorry, I did it without remover files, but I use Endo Ultra. Endo Ultra is very nice in delivering the ultrasonic energy so that gutta percha can melt and inside the root canal, and then after the pathway has already been created by the ultrasonic energy, I use micromega one curve to remove the gutta percha in a single vial. I didn't use any uh, preliminary files such as K files or 1G, any other preliminary files. So I use one curve only. Remember, back then I have no uh, remover files from Micromega. And then after having final removal of gutta percha, I do proper mechanical instrumentation like I've explained to you before. I did brushing here. Brushing means circumferentially clean the root canal cavity, root canal, and with rotary valves. And then activation was done using ultrasonic energy or activity passive ultrasonic irrigation. And after checking the master cone, I placed the bioceramic sealers also, delivering the bioceramic sealers using ultrasonic device and filling the cavity with continuous wave obturation. So from 2016, I always use bioceramic sealers. Maybe in the next future, I will explain more about obturation, but now we have lack of time. We have reached 90 minutes. So I hope that this case will be as our closing case reports before we are going through our Q session, question and answer session. And this is it. This is how I filled the canal. And then uh, after this, filling the after having the canal hermetically filled, I have to remove the excess sealer using jet polishers. And then I have to fast forward this video because we have lack of time. Doing a placing coronal seal, and after 1 week later, um, I do a proper composite resin placement here. Actually, this should be place a crown, okay, uh, but we have no time. And then 4 months later, 4 weeks later, the patient came back to me. The patient came back to me. And as you can see, by implying proper endo in a single visit, we can see the healing process occurs in these patients. So we have seen this case previously, and I have to go a little bit faster because we have lack of time. And this one I use wait. In removing the gutta percha here, I remove the gutta percha using remover file. So first, you have to refine the excess cavity. Sorry. So refining the excess cavity using ultrasonic device. And okay, so I place the initial files. And okay, now is the turn when I use remover files. So without any preliminary heat introducement to this particular canal to melt the gutta percha, I use remover files alone to remove the gutta percha here. And these remover files can work well in a very difficult canal. So here it is. The gutta percha is completely removed, and then I fill the canal. Okay, and this is month control file. And this is also how can I achieve complete healing. Complete healing also occurs after 10 months or 7 months. Okay, complete healing also, oh, sorry, to 12, 20 months. 20 months later, complete healing occurs after very severe bone loss. And this one is 10 months. So finally, keep it simple. So no rubber dam, no clean, no endo, and no fun. And we have to follow the basic endodontic protocol from access cavity, preparation, shaping, cleaning, obturation, coronal seal, definitive restoration, long-term evaluation, and oral hygiene improvement. But remember, with a proper X-ray taking and proper isolation protocol, the endodontic protocol will be lost. And that's all for me. Thank you very much. I will give this stage back to Kara. Thank you very much, Kara.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rio. Such an informative lecture. Thank you for your time. So, just a few points. Again, no rubber dam, no endo. So, I think this is something that we learn and something that you can apply in our clinic. Again, just like what Dr. Rio said, don't stress and just stay calm. So now we can go ahead with the question and answer. So maybe due to the time, maybe we can answer a few questions. On your right, Dr. Rio, you can see on the chat box some of the questions that you may answer.
Okay, we have how to prepare confluence canal. Is it suitable to use seeds? Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Dr. Wan, for your question. Yes, of course. Confluence canal. We may have some particular techniques. You have to prepare one canal first, and then, uh, okay, we have such scenario when MB1 and MB2 are joined together, and you can prepare MB1 up to the working length, and then prepare the MB2 with the particular 25 or 6% taper, and the rest is ultrasonically activating using Endo Ultra maybe. So it is okay for you to use 25 or 6 taper to prepare such confluence canal. You can see more videos in my YouTube channel concerning of this confluence canal and how to work with confluence canal. Thank you very much. So can you repeat how to remove excess sealer after obturation? Yeah, of course, Dr. Sirin. Remove excess sealers because I'm always using bioceramic sealers. It is very easy for me to remove using airflow technique. Do you have any airflow handpiece in your clinic? If you don't have the airflow handpiece, you can use ultrasonic. Ultrasonic. Maybe I will. We are have limited time. Ultrasonic tip. You can just um, touch the ultrasonic tip towards the dentinal walls and then voila, finish. Dr. Samatahaya, Dr. Yo, what's the movement when you use rhythm and file? Continuous movement, 360 degree to the right, clockwise. No, I have is Rotrifal used advisable for in treating mid-root perforation cases in cases where apical enlargement or cleaning and shaping has not been complete? Is Rotrifal used of course, you can use Rotrifal in every cases you want to use. Um, because the aims of endodontic treatment is not how what material what tools we have to use you before you working endo. The goals of endodontic treatment is remove the infected dentin and allowing the irrigants to go from the coronal part to the apical part, and the tools you are using can be many things from KVALs, using KVALs alone, combination of KVALs with ultras with KVALs with rotary valves, or maybe you can use ultrasonic. I have some cases. I have cases that I want to upload after this. I prepare the canal using ultrasonic alone, so you can use many time. I need tools. Cleaning shaping has not become yeah. May I know what is your final irrigation protocol for primary and retreatment cases? Nice question. Next question from Yon Yim. So, uh, would you perform single visit endodontic? 90% of my endodontic cases are done in a single visit, unless the rest of 10% is because I'm tired to do endodontic treatment in a single visit, or I lost my concentration, or I'm not in a good mood, or the cases where I found that the canal is still wet after thorough irrigation protocol. So please make sure every time you have reached the minimum instrumentation size, it means you can continue to do a proper irrigation. After reaching a proper irrigation time, then you can move to obturation. You can also do an obturation in a single visit. But if you are still seeing that, evaluating that the canal is still wet, you are not supposed to fill the canal using gutta percha. It is very not advisable for you. So you can wait until the canal is dry. If the canal is not dry, it means you have to postpone the obturation and then reschedule it in the next session. What is your my final irrigation protocols is EDTA, sodium hypochlorite 5.25%, and then uh, alcohol. I never use chlorhexidine. Maybe in the next webinar I will explain more about irrigation. But today we are concerning about shaping and retreatment techniques and tips. So that's what my final protocol is. So I hope that's answering your question. What you Imara? What you rotation choice for this file when you taper 25 rotation choice? Yeah, one curve or one the files that I use from 2018 is one curve. One curve is supposed to be used in clockwise continuous movement in 30 to 350 to 400 rpm, and I set the torque at maximum 1 Newton centimeter. So please note that I never pass through this torque setting. So I always set the torque at 1 Newton centimeter and set the rpm at 350 to 400. And for particular micromega remover file, I always set at 400 or more or 600 because I want to have the heat generated from the valves to melt the gutta percha. What is the difference between shape memory and shape memory means that the files will be back to its original position uh, in uh, uh, directly. Control memory means that the files can be banded and not back to its original position, like what the stainless steel files do. So if you compare NiTi to stainless steel files, NiTi have no capability. Regular NiTi have no capability to uh, control its uh, memory to maintain its shape after being banded by you or the operator. So by having the heat treated files, you can bend your files without uh, worrying about the files go back to its original position during while working in the canal. So thank you for the wonder. Thank you very much. Can you Martin? Wow. Can Could you explain more on Martin side and austenite of the files? Oh, it takes time, but I will try to explain in a very short. Martensite means the structures of the metal is not in good structures. It is bendable. The structures is like Martensite is mm, uh, um, uh, uh, Mart- the structures is like cubicle, yeah, cubic. So when it is not stable, martensite is not stable. Austenite is more stable. So and it depends on the temperature they are the metal uh, s- uh, s- placed into. If the metal uh, if the metal is introduced to heat, it is more martensite. Uh, it will be able to be bended because the structure is irregular. But if the metal is introduced to cold, any other metal, not only NiTi, any other metal, it will stay there. Uh, um, in special NiTi metal, the more martensitic files, the more martensitic files, uh, the structure is not stable, actually, unless you are introducing these files to heat, so that it will be back to its stable position. But in the normal room temperature, or if you apply such ice ice condition, icy condition, or frost condition, it will be unstable and you can bend it. I hope that this answering your question, because it is very hard for me to explain it to you. So sorry for this, Dr. Joan. So thank you very much.
I think, Doctor, we can answer one last question since you have at least 5 more minutes
Yeah.
before
What's
it opens.
the last question?
Um,
What tools that you use to dry the canal? Just paper? No, no. I'm not using. I never use any paper point. I use endo from Colton, actually. Endo suction. Wait. Because I'm in my clinic, I can take this. So this is the endosurgery tip. Can you, Kara? Is it clear for you to see it, Kara? Pardon? Yeah, I hope
Now
this.
it's clear. Yep. We
Yeah,
see it, the surgery tip endo.
yeah. Okay, that's what I use to dry the canal. How can I find MB1 is its orifice was deeper than the MB1, or maybe it just not exist? Is there any sign? Maybe later I can describe more on how we do a proper access cavity preparation, and what signs, the biological markers that we can use to define the exact location of every root canal, every orifices. But not now. I'm sorry for it. Thank you very much. But when you remove the old root canal filter, it is just, how can I find them? Or maybe just what should the rotary? I have heard that we should set the Rotary as their brand. So no, I'm not setting the Rotary Falls as their brand, as the manufacturer's instruction. And I will set at maximum torque at 1, as you can have more pepper on it, and then the RPM is 350 to 400, unless you are having the files that are more martensitic, which has more flexibility, and you can increase the RPM, or uh, but make sure that the torque stays at 1 maximum.
Okay, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you for answering most of the questions. I think we can wrap things up. For those of you who still have questions, maybe you can email. Our emails are in the flyers, and then maybe we can answer them. But for now, thank you very much, Dr. Rio. For anyone who wants to follow Dr. Rio, he has his social media platforms available. I think his YouTube channel you can all check
Yeah.
out with all the incredible videos. So with that, thank you very much, Dr. Yu, for your very informative lecture,
Thank you
and
very
we
much.
hope to see you again in our future lectures. And I just want to thank everybody who joined today.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, guys. Thank you very much for
Thank
attending the
you.
lectures. Thank you very much, Colton. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much.
everybody. Stay happy,
Thank you,
stay
Dr.
healthy, and
Rio.
stay with me. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
How should
Thank
I?
you. Thank you, Dr. Rio. We'll end the event now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.